What is going on, guys and gals? Brooklyn-bound the Raid Scientist here, and today I'm going to cover how to complete the Raid Challenge from the Deep Stone Crypt of all trades. If you like the video, a positive rating is greatly appreciated, and if you haven't done so already, click the subscribe button down below to get connected to the channel and to get access to all of my Destiny guides. Now, the Raid Challenges rotate similarly as they've done in the past, with each week being a different challenge. This guide is for the Of All Trades challenge, which is performed in the third encounter, Taniks Reborn. Successful completion of this challenge will award you double encounter chests with double loot, as well as the triumph required for the Descendant title for the Deep Stone Crypt. Note, I'm already going to assume you know how to do this encounter normally. If you need the details on how to perform the encounter in its entirety, check out my full guide linked in the description and click on the timestamp for Taniks Reborn. So, let's jump into how it's done. To complete the Of All Trades challenge, each player in your fire team must perform each of the roles, operator, scanner, and suppressor, one time and only one time, meaning all 6 players will perform each role once. If you perform the same role twice, the challenge will fail, i.e., if you're the operator and you shoot the bomb panel more than one round, or if you are the suppressor and you try to shoot the boss on more than one round, or if you are the scanner while the bins are active on more than one round, all of these scenarios will cause it to fail. You should not even pick up the same buff twice, because the time between the rounds is so short it will likely cause the challenge to fail as well. Ultimately, if you do not know how to perform a specific role, make sure you review them in my guide, as you need to do all 3 of them in order to complete the challenge. So, the easiest way to complete this is to pre-assign an order of players and hand the buffs off after each round in succession. There is likely a dozen different orders and ways to rotate the buffs, so I'll just cover how we did it. First, assign everyone in your fire team a number 1 through 6. Once assigned, make special note of the person that is after you in the order, as this is the person you are going to be passing your buff to every single time. For example, person 1 will pass to person 2 always, person 2 always passes to person 3, and person 3 always passes to person 4, and so on. It's best to familiarize yourself with who you're passing to so you can communicate with them when you are ready to pass. Once you've assigned the positions, you'll now need to assign where the buffs will start. We had person number 1 start with operator, person number 3 start with suppressor, and person number 5 start with scanner. So, when the encounter starts, those people need to go find the buffs from the vandals as they spawn, and nobody else should be picking them up at this time because it will screw up the rotation. Once the alarm goes off, all rolls are performed as normal and the bombs are carried to the correct bins. Once Taniks has been suppressed and both bombs have been correctly placed into the bins is when the first swap will happen. Whichever of the 3 players holding the deactivated augment will deposit their augment first and communicate to the person after them to pick it up. Then, the other 2 buffs get swapped to the next in line in the same fashion. It's best to have the deactivated person go first, this way you don't accidentally start the buff swapping phase too soon and have someone get locked out that needs a buff. Now, person 2 will have operator, person 4 will have suppressor, and person 6 will have scanner. Persons 1, 3, and 5 will not have any buffs. Now, rinse and repeat, having everyone perform their tasks and then swapping buffs after each round of bombs being deposited. The reason you split the players into 2 teams, Team 135 and Team 246, is to account for the augment deactivation. You'll always be passing a buff to a player that did not have a buff the previous round, thus they should not be locked out. Now, a quick note on the timing of the deactivated augment that I just mentioned. Because the time between rounds is rather quick, there is a risk that even if you follow the pattern I've outlined, you could have a situation where a player going to pick up a buff could still have a few seconds left on their deactivated timer. If you don't want to deal with this, you can prevent this from happening by delaying each round a little. To do this, don't deposit the bombs into the bins as soon as they are unlocked. Instead, wait some time for your radiation to stack a little, or even have someone take it from you to delay depositing them. This will allow the deactivated player's timer to tick down lower, and thus, when they go to attempt to pick up their buff, it should be gone. This professionally rendered amazing diagram on screen outlines exactly what I've explained. Persons 1, 3, 5 will start with buffs, then pass to players 2, 4, 6, and continuing to pass the buffs along the order of players until all 6 players have performed each role 1 time. Because there are 6 rounds, remember that there are 3 rounds where you will not perform any of the tasks. Feel free to screen capture this and use it for reference as necessary. A final few notes about this challenge. First, there are reports that joining allies to reset your radiation causes the challenge to not complete properly. So to all of you out-of-bounds masters, you may want to just run this normally for the challenge this time. Second, there is not a rule on which terminal or terminals can be used to transfer the buffs. Feel free to use any terminal that is close by to where you are for the sake of speed. You do not need to take the buff from the same terminal it was deposited. And that's it. Best of luck in getting this done, Guardians. If you learn of any ways that this challenge can fail that I haven't covered, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and share with your communities to help support the channel. Until next time, Guardians.